right, so for physical athletes, I want to work with people on 5 things. So one is torque chains. So how we create tension in our bodies in order to achieve positions matters. And it matters because it affects our central nervous system. So in general, we've got internal and external torque chains. Think hugging muscles for the internal torque, and think surprise muscles for external torque. Those are involved in feedback loops so that we can gain awareness about our central nervous system state by what's happening with those torque chains, and also we can control our central nervous system state through intentional use of those torque chains. Second, breath control. So the major influence on the central nervous system, I should say that the major driver that's under our conscious control is breathing. So how we breathe makes a huge difference to our central nervous system state. And what I mean by that is, on a spectrum from flow, like I'm getting along well with the people around me and there's no significant problems and things are predictable and going as planned and I'm in control of my situation, across to, oh, there's struggle, I have to fight in order to make the world the way I want it, to, oh, I'm not winning that fight, now I need to get out of this situation, to, oh, the threat is so high that I can't get away and I need to freeze. That's a spectrum, right? And so we can move ourselves with different drivers along that spectrum in order to be most effective for the physical movement that we need. So breath control is the biggest driver of where we show up on that spectrum, and thus how we can move differently. Breath control. Third item is visualization. So about half of our brain is wired through our visual system, and so we learn best through seeing and then doing. So huge chunks of our brain are devoted to seeing and moving. And so we can use intentional visualization in order to give ourselves more practice for a difficult skill that we're acquiring, or to prime us for a faster response in a given situation, or to seek unknown opportunities on the route to a more distant goal. So we can prime that through intentional visualization. Fourth thing I work with athletes on is positivity. So that's a huge driver of that mindset of where we show up on that threat continuum. So positivity is the conscious, intentional choice to choose predatory circuitry within our central nervous system over prey or victim circuitry within our central nervous system. So we can influence our ability to use different parts of our brain and nervous system for more effective ends. So if we need wider awareness and the ability to fluidly choose between options, we want to push ourselves towards positivity and towards that predator circuitry. And if we just need a last burst of power to get out of a horrible situation, then we're going to let ourselves use that prey or victim circuitry. Fifth thing is goals. So an awareness of the big picture of how this skill or this movement or this workout fits into what I want for myself in terms of physical athletic movement, and what I want for myself in terms of the ability to be competent at skills to varying degrees, the ability to show up in stressful workouts to varying degrees. That all depends on what I value in life outside the gym, and making the appropriate connections so that we can use our emotions as fuel towards those goals. So those are the 5 things that I work on with athletes. It's torque chains. So at the physical level, how are we creating positions with appropriate use of torque chains? How are we using breath to influence especially the the central nervous system, and then the rest of the physical movement? 2, how am I using visualization how do I use visualization in order to drive that central nervous system engagement? Positivity, so choosing the predator versus prey circuitry for the appropriate situation, and then goal-directed activity. So a big picture understanding of who I am, what I value in life, and how my goals fit into that, from the big 5-year plan down to the micro goal of how am I intentionally approaching this next rep. And it takes someone who's interested in paying attention to all of those things to get really picky and granular and tease out the micro adjustments that you can make that can open up bigger improvements. So that's what I enjoy doing with physical athletes, and it tends to be very important for people who have a competitive situation. So competitive athletes, or folks that are in high-risk professions such as soldiers, law enforcement officers, firefighters, where there is a physical component to their job that has life or death consequences. And so they want to make sure that their physical body and their mindset is aligned so that they can be maximally effective in those situations. But give me a call or send me an email. Go to my Linktree and you can click on the meet and greet page. That'll let you know a little bit more about what I do, who I like to work with, and you can get my coaching services menu there to see if you want to sign up for a workshop, a long-term course, a community subscription, or whether you want to work with me one-on-one. Hope to see you soon.